And it's time for another matchup in the first round of the Big Lager Championship. Let's have a look at the table. So here's the second half of the table, and we are very close to finishing the first round. I can't believe it. I can almost taste the end of the first round. And if you remember, in the last matchup, we had the Birra getting through against the Mahou. Just showing that Aldi do the best Birra Moretti, essentially. And while we're on that, I did say that the Birra Moretti was still in the championship in the last matchup. It's not. I forgot. It actually got beaten by the Champignoils, didn't it? It was one of those that I was going to put the Birra Moretti through, but then after I'd tasted them a bit longer and given it a bit more time to actually get used to both beers, I actually thought the Champignoils was a better beer, and the Champignoils ended up clinching it and going through. So the Birra Moretti was out, even though I was impressed with the beer. I thought it was quite nice. Anyway, no more about that though. We've got another beer from Asda. We've got Asda's Feldschlossen. Asda is very well represented, I've got to say, in this with like own brand stuff. We've got the Feldschlossen, we've got the Champignoils, and we had the Asda Premium Lager, which wasn't very good representative, but it was still another Asda one. So we had 3 different Asda ones there, I think. And the Beard Lux was in, wasn't it, as well, in the preliminaries. So Asda was very well represented. This is the Feldschlossen. This is the one that I decided was too good for the Cheap Lager Championship. It's 4 cans for £3.85, and they are 500ml cans. So I got some more of that, and it's going to be up against this one that I've never had before, Angelo Poretti. So I don't know anything about this really. I know it just like kind of appeared in like supermarkets and in pubs and things. I don't really know anything about Angelo Poretti. I just don't know anything about it at all. I'm assuming it's Italian. And it's a premium Italian lager, brewed and bottled in the UK. Well, at least they're nice and honest in big letters there, and it looks like it's a Carlsberg Marston's thing as well. So that's interesting. Not that that's going to affect my judgment in any way. Feldschlossen, don't know much about this. Probably talked a bit about this when I pretended to review it in the Cheap Lager Championship. But yeah, it doesn't really say much about where it's brewed or anything. So it's brewed according to the German purity law, so that's good. Oh yeah, I do remember this now. It's produced in France. Which is interesting. Are they all brewed in France? So was because the Beard Lux was produced in France. This is produced in France. Was the Champignoils? I'm assuming it's brewed in France as well. So interesting. Anyway, Feldschlossen Lager, brewed in France. Angelo Poretti, brewed in the UK. Let's get them cracked open and let's see what I think of them. Okay, beer's poured. And what can I say about these two? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you which one's which. So, this is which one is which. Okay, that was which one was which. Let's move this table back a bit. Now, I don't know when this is going to be released, but it's been a bit of time, been a couple of weeks since I last did one of these taste tests, so I'm excited again to do it. I went off for a little bit and just thought, I don't want to do any, but it's been a couple of weeks and I'm doing it again now. So let's have a swill. Get my taste buds nice and cleansed. You know which one's which now. I don't. Let's have a little look at these first of all, actually. Let's look at them. More bubbles rising to the top on that one. Suggest a little bit more lively. This one might be a little bit smoother. It's not got as many bubbles rising to the top. As I see the heads, one was a little bit bigger than the other when it was poured, but these seem to be dissipating at similar rates. This one may be a little bit quicker than this one. Colour, they're roughly the same. They're pale straw colour, both of them, really. They're very, very light. I'd say this one possibly a little bit paler than this one. Anyway, why am I waffling? I want to get nose in these now, so let's have a see what they smell like, see what kind of smells I'm getting from them. Smelling fresh, floral, fragrant, grassy, lemon, orange. Not a huge amount in the way of malt, but it smells really nice. Yeah, it smells crisp and it smells sharp and it smells lemony. Lemony and grassy, a little bit syrupy, but doesn't smell like it would be too sweet. A little bit biscuity, so there's a little bit of maltiness there, a little bit biscuity, a bit wafery. Nice. Smells alright, that smells quite nice, gotta say. Let's have a nose on this one now. Ooh. So, initially, a bit sweatier on the smell. Yeah, it's a bit creamy, bit sweaty, bit grapefruity possibly, a little bit dank. Oh, very odd. It's getting a little bit, it's opening up a bit more now. That might have just been the first swill. It's getting a little bit more orangey and a bit more marmalade-y now. A bit more orangey, a bit more marmalade-y. It's getting, getting a bit of brown bread in there. Yeah, that initial sweatiness gone now. It's just been replaced with a bit of a marmalade-y orangey kind of scent with a little bit of grassiness, a little bit more of a brown bready kind of malt rather than a biscuity malt. Smell coming from this one. Initially, I didn't really like the smell of this one. It's grown on me a bit. Yeah, there still is something a little bit sweaty in that aroma, but I am getting the orangey, marmalade-y smells here and the brown bready smells. Yeah, and a little bit of kind of just not quite that clean smells there. Anyway, it's not about the smells though, is it? It's about the taste. So let's get tasting these, because that's what beers are for. They're for drinking, so let's drink this one. Cheers. So, first thing I'm getting on this is crisp and clean. Nice little aftertaste. A little bit of biscuit on the aftertaste. Yeah, initial flavours. We're getting a bit of that grassiness up front. There's a little bit of bitterness in it, but it's not too bitter. But yeah, it is tingling the side of that tongue there. It's almost on the finish, the bitterness. Leaves you with a lovely shortbread biscuity aftertaste. Nice and smooth, really drinkable. Really refreshing. That's a tasty bit of that. Could have a little bit more in the flavour. A little bit muted, I'd say, the flavours on it. I'm not sure what percentage these are. I think they're both about 4.5%. I think the Angelo Poretti was 4.8. I think the Feldschlossen might have been 4.5, because I think that's how I got it kicked out of the other championship, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's very pleasant indeed. That. I'd say that's pretty much kind of what I would expect as a good version of this championship. One of the good beers in this championship, I'd expect it to taste like that. But I've not tasted this one yet, so here we go. Cheers. Now, I think this one's a bit smoother than that one. Probably because all the carbonation's disappeared out of it now. Now this one's giving me a little bit more of a maltiness in the taste. It's not as crisp or as clean. It's got a bit of bitterness to it. There's not much of an aftertaste to speak of. not a huge amount in the way of body. You've got some bitterness riding through that. There's a little bit of a nondescript maltiness, really. It's just kind of like, it tastes like a bit of maltiness, but there's no specific tastes in there. Not getting much of an aftertaste. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just one of those beers which is kind of like bitterness and nothing else. There's a bit of bitterness. There's not much else there. I'll give another go. Yeah, this one's crisper. It's drier. There's a little bit of sweetness there, but also a bit of bitterness. Yeah, it's crisp, it's tasty, it's refreshing, it's decent beer, this one. This one, not speaking to me. It just tastes a bit dull. It tastes a bit just... This one is crisp and vibrant. This is like the opposite. It's just muted and dull and a little bit orangey. And a tiny bit brown bready, but there's not much to this one, I wouldn't say. It's okay, but it's not as good as this one. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking this one for the win. Now, I would think that this was the Feldschlossen, just because of those kind of characters that it has. It's stuff I remembered the Feldschlossen hasn't. I don't remember this Feldschlossen tasting like this, but you never know. I could be wrong. It could be. Either way, whatever way around they are, this one deserves to win. I'll guess this is the Feldschlossen. I'll guess this is the Angelo Poretti. But again, happy to be proved wrong. I'll find out which was which, and I will be right back. This is me happy to be proved wrong, because I am wrong. This was the Feldschlossen, and this was the Angelo Poretti, which I thought, it's quite possible it could be that way around, because this it's supposed to be like an Italian lager, and Italian lagers aren't ridiculously malty. Thinking about things like, things like Birra Moretti and Peroni and stuff, they don't tend to be dead malty. They tend to be a bit like this. But I am surprised that the Feldschlossen tastes like that. I thought it was better than that. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. But to be honest, I think compared to this, this is better. This is better. So it might be brewed in the UK. It might be brewed by Carlsberg Marsden. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. In fact, it's decent. It's a decent little tipple, that. I'm liking how crisp it is. I'm liking the dryness on it. Might actually say I prefer that to Peroni. I'm more impressed with this than I was with the Peroni. So, I mean, the Peroni, is that brewed in the UK? I didn't actually look, to be honest. You never know, do you? But yeah, Angelo Poretti, Italian beer, not brewed in Italy. Although it's got Italian stuff all over the front, and then it says on the back, brewed and bottled in the UK. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nice. 4.8%. It was a 660ml bottle, where you can get like kind of anywhere. The Feldschlossen, I say nothing wrong with it. It's not bad. It's just, I think compared to that, it's it is bad. Sometimes these beers, especially with the second one, if the second one's not as good as the first, it can make the second one taste a bit worse than it actually is. I mean, these Asda beers, they're all very different, really. I mean, they all had a kind of a strange taste, really. Like the Bière Deluxe had a kind of a different taste than all the things in the cheap lager Championship. The Champignoils had a really strange taste, which I kind of warmed to during the taste test, and ended up winning it for it. The Asda Pilsner had a really strange taste for a Pilsner. And again, the Feldschlossen, it's not. If it's trying to be kind of like a German style lager, to me it doesn't taste like a German style lager. Closest thing I remember to this is the Mahou, really. Almost like a bit of a failed attempt to do a Spanish style lager. As I say, it's not bad. It's perfectly drinkable. It's got a nice bit of bitterness to it. A little bit lacking in flavour compared to this one, but as I drink it now, it's quite pleasant. But I mean, it is 4 cans. It is 4 500ml cans for £3.85. So, you know, they're not. It's not exactly aiming at the premium market, really. Let's put this down here. Yeah, it's not really aiming at the premium market, Feldschlossen. It is aiming at the budget market, and I'd say compared to the budget beers, compared to that, would still have won that cheap lager championship. It is better than the beer deluxe, I think. It's just it is a good beer. Well, I said it's okay. I said it was okay before, didn't I? But I think it is a good beer. It's decent. But I just think this really did actually put it through its paces. I think compared to this, for me, it set the bar quite high. To be honest, it's a little bit on the gassy side. But then again, so is Singha, and that did really well in the other one. But yeah, it's crisp, it's clean, it's refreshing. It's got a nice bit of sweetness. I think it does a good job at what it's trying to be, which is brilliant. And it is a contender with things like Poretti and Poretti, which of course it is. I think it's doing a good job. It really is. So there we go. I've waffled for too long. This will be up now against the winner of the last matchup there, which is Sabor against something I've never had Sabor, which is the little version of Madri, which is interesting. Sabor against something. You'll have seen it at the beginning, what it's up against. Can't wait to do that one. And then that'll be the first round done. Which is nice, really, because I have lots of the beers in already for the second round, so I can get that up and running. But yeah, there you go. So nearly done with the first round. Angelo Poretti is through. No more to say, apart from a bit of a burp there. All done. Till next time, have a good one.